Do you believe there are demons in the world? A man had a strange and eerie experience one stormy night. One stormy night, Ellington found himself lost in the woods. He came across a house and knocked on the door. A man holding a candle answered, telling him that this was a hermit's residence and they didn't accept visitors. Ellington quickly explained that he was lost. The man hesitated for a moment but then softened and allowed him inside. As Ellington entered, other hermits emerged from their rooms. The man told him to wait while he went to inform the master. Drenched from the rain, Ellington started to feel unwell. Suddenly, a loud howl echoed in the distance. Ellington froze, eyes wide with fear. The man reappeared and said the master wanted to see him. Ellington hurriedly asked what the sound was. The man calmly replied that it was just the wind. Ellington was led into a room where he met the elderly master, his hair completely white. The master immediately questioned why he had come. Ellington introduced himself, saying he had been hiking and got lost in the storm. He then started coughing weakly. Without hesitation, the master refused to offer Ellington shelter, insisting that he needed to leave immediately. The master firmly told him to leave at once. With no other choice, Ellington staggered outside but collapsed just a few steps away. A while later, Ellington regained consciousness, the storm still raging outside. Once again, he heard the howl. Weakly, he leaned against the pillar and followed the sound. He came upon a door, which was blocked by a staff. As Ellington approached to look inside, a man suddenly rushed over and grabbed him. Ellington introduced himself, and the man pleaded for help. He could tell Ellington wasn't part of the group. He urged Ellington to come closer and, in a pained voice, explained that the people here were all insane. The man went on to tell Ellington that he had once lived in a village in Schwarzwald. One day, he and his wife were walking together, sat down under a tree, and shared a kiss. The man asked Ellington if there was anything wrong with that. Ellington replied that of course, there was nothing wrong with it. The man continued, saying they both felt the same, but the master had beaten him with a heavy staff simply because his wife had rejected the master's advances. Ellington shook his head, struggling to believe such a thing could happen.
He makes his madness seem a harmless thing. The madness of a religious zealot. This is not a religious order. These so-called brothers of truth, they don't say they're evil. I say they're bad.
Upon hearing this, Ellington decided to confront the master. Just as he was about to leave, the master called out to him and told him to come with him immediately. He had something to clarify with Ellington. Thunder rumbled in the sky, and the hermit watched closely from outside the room where the prisoner was kept. As they entered the room, the master once again urged Ellington to leave. Everyone unanimously agreed that Ellington should not stay any longer. He had to leave right away. Ellington understood that he was an unwanted guest, but he couldn't help wondering why the master was so eager to get rid of him. Was it because of the man locked up in that room? The master, seemingly confused, asked which person Ellington was talking about. He insisted that no one had ever been imprisoned at the hermit's residence, but Ellington was certain he had just spoken with the man. The master gently approached and tried to calm him down, suggesting that Ellington was gravely ill and probably delirious. Just then, the howl sounded again. Ellington quickly pushed the master away and insisted that the master shouldn't deny hearing it. He warned that if the master didn't tell the truth, he had no problem going to the authorities. Just as Ellington was about to walk out, the master stopped him. Since Ellington was determined to know, the master promised he would tell him everything. The howl echoed once again, and the master covered his ears in pain. He explained that over the past 5 years, he had heard the sound countless times.
Why did you lie?
I didn't. When I told you that no man howled at the hermitage, I was being perfectly honest. What you saw is not a man. What you saw is not a man. It is the devil himself.
It is the devil himself. The man was the demon. He was the evil spirit, the devil, the source of all evil, Satan, the dark angel. Now Ellington knew the truth, but still couldn't bring himself to believe it. He hesitated, expressing doubt, but the master noticed his disbelief and began recounting everything from the beginning. It turned out the master was not the primitive madman that Ellington had thought him to be. He had once held a philosophy degree from a prestigious university and had a job for life. 5 years ago, there were no howls in this place. The Truth Brothers had been praying for the redemption of their souls in this desolate land, their creed being the pursuit of truth, which was the best weapon to fight against the demon, the father of all lies. After the war, the villagers of Schwarzwald had lived a happy and devout life.
This village was a plum to Satan, one he could not resist. So he came here and embarked upon a program of corruption.
But you stopped.
Yes!
The demon could deceive others, but not the master. Holding the staff of truth, the master said that the demon could not escape the power of the sacred artifact. Ellington voiced his final doubt. How had the master recognized the demon? The master explained that the demon could take human form, and he had encountered him in various places around the world. Wherever he went, death and destruction followed. That was why the master hoped Ellington would keep the secret. Ellington stood up to leave. He was a scholar, and he didn't believe in such legendary things. The master stopped him and began talking about the world's peace over the past 5 years. Ellington could only pretend to believe the master's words. Seeing that Ellington had started to believe him, the master was relieved. The next day, Ellington would be able to leave. Ellington exited the room and, amidst the flashing thunder and lightning, made his way to the man. Upon seeing Ellington, the man immediately knew that the master had lied to him. The man smiled bitterly, saying he was not a demon. Ellington also expressed that he didn't believe the master, but he could always go to the police. The man quickly stopped him, warning that the police wouldn't find anything. If they were discovered, it would mean their death. At that moment, a large hand was placed on Ellington's shoulder. The hermit led him into a room and locked the door with a key, saying it was for Ellington's protection. Later that night, when the hermit was asleep, Ellington quietly took the key and carefully opened the door to slip outside. Who was lying, the man or the master? Ellington returned to the man. The man was delighted to see him and said all he needed to do was remove the staff from the door. Ellington was puzzled, wondering why the man could touch the staff himself. The man urgently told Ellington there was no time to discuss it. If they were caught, both their lives would be in danger. Suddenly, the hermit awoke, shouting from the window for Ellington to stop. But by then, Ellington had already moved the staff. The man gently pushed the door open. Ellington handed him a piece of clothing. But as the man reached out, Ellington collapsed helplessly to the ground. The man, grinning and stroking his beard, walked past Ellington. With a hateful look in his eyes, Ellington watched as the demon disappeared into a puff of smoke. The master then came out and saw the open cell. He didn't blame Ellington for what he had done, but made it clear that Ellington needed to understand who had brought the world to the brink of danger again. Ellington's gaze grew resolute. At that moment, he made the decision to spend his life hunting the demon. Soon, the devil started World War II. On another stormy night, Ellington spent years finally capturing the demon. He instructed his maid never, under any circumstances, to open the door. The maid nodded, understanding the warning. Ellington left, telling her he would be back in a few minutes. He again reminded her not to open the door. But after Ellington left, the maid turned and looked at the room behind her. The demon's howl echoed, and slowly, the maid's hand reached up and removed the staff from the door. Ancient folk say you can catch the devil, but you can't hold him long. Ask David Ellington. They know, and they'll go on knowing, to the end of their days, and beyond, in the Twilight Zone.